Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Raw Reaction. I am Nate the Effing Great, joined here by Smart Money Podcast own AJ Jensen. And how's that sandwich, man?
That was good. Definitely good. Like I said, I picked up a sub for lunch on my way back, and I was like, shit, we got to record in like 15 minutes. I don't know if I'm going to have time to eat this all. But then the hunger took over, and I finished.
You know, when you're hungry, things happen. And honestly, it's funny that you mentioned, you got a sandwich, because of course I have that interview with TJ tomorrow, so I think we're going to have a fun time talking about that story, about the whole sandwiches deal. So,
yeah, TJ loves his sandwiches.
Oh, I've been told. All right, guys, so welcome again to this afternoon edition of Raw Reaction, of course, on Spreaker.com, amongst so many other great places where you can listen to us. Monday Night Raw last night was
Boring.
I was going to go along the lines of pointless, actually, because the only...
I mean, I would rather watch, like, reruns of The Nanny than have to sit and watch that Monday Night Raw again.
That is brutal. But yeah, the only things that I thought made sense were the tag team turmoil matchup, which we'll get to talking about in a bit, and the build-up, I guess you could say, for the IC title match next week. But other than that, it didn't feel like there was that much really crazy going on. I don't know.
Not really. And it sucks, too, because we got to see Braun Strowman get written off of the script for a while. I don't know if you read this, but apparently he is going to be out for like 4 to 8 weeks. He's having elbow surgery. It's nothing major, but they said that's why they started saying the torn rotator cuff thing. That's why his arm was in a sling last night, and that's why Roman Reigns attacked his arm. That was their way of booting him. So he'll be off TV for a while, which really sucks because, quite honestly, I think Braun Strowman's been one of the only good things on Monday Night Raw. So it's going to suck to not have him on for a while.
I agree. Yeah, thankfully it's just a minor elbow procedure from what I was reading too. It did say he was going to be out for about at least 4 to 8 weeks, which actually one of our questions that, thankfully we got asked, Sarah, she asked the question of what are they going to do to the Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman storyline now that Braun is injured. They had big plans for him. I think that they were legitimately going to have him beat Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules and then have him face Brock Lesnar at the Great Balls of Fire events. That I want to talk about a little later on, but that definitely kills the momentum for Braun Strowman. I mean, they could still find a way to maybe make it pick up the pace a little bit, but right now, that slow build to him being a contender is really not going to happen with this elbow injury.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to be out, 4 to 8 weeks. It's another thing to be out 4 to 8 months. So I kind of think, I kind of look at it with the situation that Naomi was in on SmackDown when she tweaked her knee, and she had to take a month and a half off or something like that.
Roughly, yeah.
Basically from Elimination Chamber to WrestleMania, she was off recuperating her knee, and they picked that storyline right back up where they left off. So I'm hoping that they do the same with Braun, because I mean you hear the crowd. I mean, granted he's been going against Roman Reigns, but Braun Strowman is like over as fuck right now, and I don't think they should take that away from him. Because he's going to be gone for at worst 8 weeks.
No, I definitely do agree. I am hoping that they actually do hold off on, pulling the trigger on Braun Strowman until they know for sure that he is going to be, out for a bit longer because, they said 4 to 8 weeks, so that could happen, just 4 weeks, or that could happen in just a few weeks, but it's not one of those things. Hold on. I think we... Oh, nope. Okay. For some reason, I thought that we were off the air, but no, we're good. We're good. I misjudged. So, yeah. Yeah, that... False alarm, folks. My bad. My B. Yeah, I pulled an R truth.
I do understand that, too. Like, I know I was talking to you last night about recording today. I'm so tired, like, by the time Raw goes off the air, I generally hardly have, like, hardly any energy to, like, put into it.
Right.
I'm a lot more, like, fired up and ready to go doing this now than, like, I would have been last night.
Well, I mean, I think that Raw last night kind of just, sunk in just a little bit where it's just like, oh, boy, this is going to get either annoying, this is going to be good. But, yeah, let's start talking a little bit about Raw. You did touch base about, Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. Yeah, they had another beatdown. But also another thing that happened again was the build-up for the IC title match they announced for next week. Kurt Angle makes his first non-appearance he doesn't make an appearance, I should say, at a Monday Night Raw. He was not able to make it to London, but in all fairness, I think the UK has seen a lot of Kurt Angle in action. So in all honesty, you guys... Yeah, you didn't get to see Kurt Angle as the general manager, but you got to see him wrestle. So if you're complaining about that, just shut up, because us in America, we haven't seen him really wrestle that much ever since he. Well, I don't know if I want to say retired, but basically what happens is Dean Ambrose comes out, says that, hey, Kurt Angle wants to give me the reins and he wants me to be the general manager. Miz comes out and he says, I talked to Stephanie, which I thought, oh boy, here comes the buzzkill. And Stephanie says, okay, well, we're going to have a co-general manager, that being The Miz.
Loved it.
They basically...
I love everything about The Miz right now. Like, he's been so good. It's really hard for someone to be on such a hot streak. Miz has been on a hot streak since, like, 2015. Like, everything he's done. 2015 was, like, a great year for him. 2016 was a great year for him. And it's looking like 2017 could possibly be a great year for him, too. That dude has shined in absolutely everything he's done. The long Intercontinental title run, a feud with Ziggler, is coming over to Raw now. Like, he is just shining in everything he does. And I'm glad to see. It looks like he's starting to bring back the awesome, He kind of got away from that for a while, and I always loved that.
I was going to say, I do think that, it definitely did get him over. I was going to say, I definitely do think that the awesome gimmick definitely did get him over as a heel, and him bringing that back is kind of one of those things where, like, oh, it's a throwback to when he was, one of those punk-ass kids who didn't really, either belong or he didn't really want to, he really didn't have that much in the way of skill. But, yeah, kind of seeing that and hearing him say, awesome again was like, oh, wow. He went back to that. I'm totally okay with that. But
like I said, Miz has just been like on straight fire for almost 2.5 years now. So I'm hoping this is gonna be maybe way down the line, but I'm hoping he'll be in title contention again soon, and not just for the Intercontinental title, but he really has brought prestige back to the Intercontinental Championship, and that's something. It's kind of been irrelevant since, like, Cody Rhodes had it. And I'm not talking, like, Stardust. I'm talking Cody Rhodes. Like, when he got the IC title and he switched back to the white belt, and everyone, like, lost their minds because it was so awesome. He really did. Dean Ambrose is dog shit with it, I think. Dean Ambrose has completely fallen off the deep end for me. I have pretty much lost any likeness that I had of Dean Ambrose. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's just overplaying the crazy lunatic thing. I'm just not entertained when I watch him anymore. But then, Miz goes out there night after night, week after week, and just every time he's on, I'm like, God, I love this guy even more. It's crazy because I kind of had that with Dean Ambrose after the Shield split up. And I liked him for a while, and it wasn't until he won the World Heavyweight Championship, and I don't know what happened. I just stopped liking him. I didn't think he was that great of a champion, and yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
You know, to kind of play off of that, I feel like, you know, I started losing a bit of faith in Dean Ambrose. Not during the time where he was the champion. I thought, you know, hey, it was a great moment. I didn't like the way he won it, per se, but it was still like, okay, finally, we get to see, you know, Dean Ambrose as the world champion after almost like a year after winning it. It's like, okay, a year later, hey, we finally got it. All right, great. They had that great triple threat Shield deal. It was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. The match with Dolph Ziggler was good, but it wasn't as well as we had wanted. Dean just started getting to be way too funny. I think that's one of the main problems with upper main roster WWE is that, you know, you have to be entertaining, you have to be funny, you have to be, you know, we can't even use the phrase, you know, PG anymore. It's just, you know, just appease to the kids in some sort of fashion. And it's like, no, you don't. You really don't have to appease to the kids. I mean, for those of you that have forgotten, Randy Orton is one of those guys that, you know, kids want to see, but you have to remember his history that got him to be a big star in the first place. You know, he didn't just, you know, willy-nilly just punch an old man out of nowhere. Oh, wait, yes, he did. Well, at least he didn't RKO a woman. Nope, he did that too. Well, didn't DDT? Nope, did that as well. Point being that you can't always be the most entertaining guy. You have to have some seriousness to him. And the problem with Dean is that he's lost that serious mojo. Like you said, there comes to the point where you're just like, well, why should I pay attention to this guy? Why should I care about this guy? Why should I have him, you know, be my champion instead? I mean, it's just one of those things where it's just disheartening, where it's like, you know, Dean Ambrose, he's such a great wrestler. He's so good, but he's so watered down now. It's like, what's going on? It's not working. Something's not working.
Yeah, there was one moment where I was like, okay, if Dean Ambrose was always like this, like, he would be amazing. And it's that serious part you're talking about. It's like funny but serious at the same time. It was when he cut that promo on John Cena. I think it was it John Cena, AJ Styles, and Dean Ambrose were all in the ring together, and Ambrose just straight up just went off on Cena about, like, you know, like, you used to rip on part-timers, now you're a part-timer. He's like, it was a really good promo. I can't remember exactly word for word how it went, but it had the seriousness that you were talking about to it. And plus he was ripping on John Cena, so it's always good. But I wish he had stayed with that, because I was like, ooh, like, that was kind of one of those moments where I was like, oh, if he stays like this, like, I'm going to like Dean again. And then he went right back to the comedy routine. Like, the funniest thing about Dean Ambrose, quite honestly to me, wasn't even Dean Ambrose. It was Mitch.
Yeah, bring back Mitch, please. Yeah, hopefully we'll see a little bit more improvement from Dean Ambrose, but right now, he's just still got to find a way to get out of that slump. But honestly, last night, him being the Raw General Manager and Miz being Raw General Manager, co-General Managers, I should say, it felt out of place. It didn't serve a point. It was just one of those things where, again, they're building up the IC title match for